Let's look at test planning and estimation. Planning may be documented in a master test plan and in separate test plans. This applies to test levels such as system testing and acceptance testing. The outline of a test planning document can follow by standards. Basically, a standard for software test documentation available at IEEE standard 829 1998 is available for this. Planning is influenced by the test policy of the organization, the scope of testing, objectives, risks, constraints, criticality, testability, and the availability of resources. As the project and test planning progress, more information becomes available and the more detail can be included in the plan. Test planning is a continuous activity and is performed in all life cycle and processes and activities. Feedback from test activities is used to recognize changing risks so that planning can be adjusted. Different approaches may be combined. For example, a risk-based dynamic approach, where testing is directed to areas of greatest risk, can include exploratory testing, where testing is more reactive to events than pre-planned, and where execution and evaluation are concurrent tasks. Test planning activities for an entire system or part of a system may include determining the scope and risks and identifying the objectives of testing, defining the overall approach of testing, including the definition of test levels and entry and exit criteria, and integrating and coordinating testing activities into the software development lifecycle. This includes acquisition, supply, development, operation, and maintenance. Making decisions about what to test, what roles will perform the test activities, how to test, and how the test results will be evaluated is a part of the scheduling of test analysis, design activities, implementation, execution, and evaluation. This also includes selecting metrics for monitoring and controlling test preparation and execution, defect resolution, and risk issues. This includes another set of activities such as scheduling other resources for the different activities defined and setting the level of detail for test procedures in order to provide enough information to support reproducible test preparation and execution. Entry criteria defines when to start testing, such as the beginning of a test level or when a set of tests is ready to start execution. Typically, entry criteria may cover the following: test environment availability and readiness, test tool readiness in the test environment, testable code availability, and test data availability. Exit criteria defines when to stop testing, such as the end of a test level or when a set of tests has achieved a specific goal. Typically, exit criteria may cover the following: thoroughness measures such as coverage of code, functionality, or risk, estimates of defect density or reliability measures, what is the cost, residual risks such as defects not fixed or lack of test coverage in certain areas, and schedules such as those based on time to market. Two approaches for the estimation of test or effort are the metrics-based approach, estimating the testing effort based on metrics of former or similar projects or based on typical values, and the expert-based approach, estimating the tasks based on estimates made by the owner of the tasks or by the experts. Once the test effort is estimated, resources can be identified and a schedule can be drawn up. The testing effort may depend on a number of factors, including characteristics of the product, the quality of the specification, and other information used for test models, such as the test basis, the size of the product, the complexity of the problem domain, the requirements for reliability and security, and the requirements for documentation. Characteristics of the development process, such as the stability of the organization, tools used, test process, skills of the people involved, and time pressure, and the outcome of testing, the number of defects and the amount of rework required.